my prediction is that insurance premiums are going to continue to increase due to several different reasons. Number one, natural disasters. The fires out in California will play havoc on insurance premiums in the coming 12 to 24 months, along with Florida's storm last year. Unfortunately, we're looking at continued increases on personal lines insurance premiums in the near future until we can get past some of these very difficult times. For example, the billions of dollars in claims that are going to be taking place out of California. And that's going to be passed on to many of us in other states because when insurance premiums are pooled and it's based on a large pool of people. So at the end of the day, we're going to pay for this together, and then premiums will continue to increase, unfortunately. The advice for small businesses is first and foremost is let's not really look at curbing coverage. Let's look at different carriers. And if different carriers aren't the answer, let's look at different deductibles. It's all about looking at risk. Let's not take large risks. Let's take small risks. And how we take small risks is with higher deductibles. We're assuming and keeping the liability numbers, for example, on a commercial auto at $1 million, but instead of having that $500 deductible, maybe we have a $1,000 deductible or a $2,500 deductible. And that will help assist in curbing some of the costs, but you're still looking at premiums that are increasing. So the real piece where you could save money is possibly doing some shopping with a local independent agent so that you can find an agency that can review and look through many different carriers to see if there is better pricing. But if that's not the option, the only other option is really looking at deductibles, unless you want to curb coverage. I never advise that. It's critical in these times because independent agents represent many different carriers versus a direct writer or a captive agent who only has one carrier. So your local independent agent is absolutely critical because of the options and the difference in the carriers that they have and that they represent. It's going to bring more options and choices to you, the small business. Number one mistake is they curb coverage, not always knowing they're curbing coverage, sometimes just maybe not paying attention or not really listening to the other agent. But we do see coverages being cut. For example, recently lost a piece of business and the gentleman went from $2 million of liability down to $500,000. After he got the policy, he did reach out to me and ask me to do a quick review to see why we couldn't basically compete with that price. And I shared with him, you cut your coverages by 75%. And once I showed them that, he ended up coming back and doing business with our agency because he knew and understood and realized the value of that liability coverage. And it just wasn't wise or prudent for his business, and especially if he had a claim. Raising deductible are, in most cases, the right choice for one major reason. Insurance isn't meant to be used for every small claim. So raising the deductible means that you're assuming a little bit more liability risk, a little bit more risk on your behalf. But with that, you're getting some savings. If you look at over time, over a 20-year span, for example, I had a client, for 20 years, they didn't have a claim. If they had higher deductibles, they would have saved a real lot of money. Each year, there would have been savings. Over 20 years, that really added up to an awful lot of money, which is why it's highly recommended that you do increase your deductibles, save the money, and God forbid you have a claim over time, you're still going to benefit with higher deductibles.